So good morning from Penang, Malaysia, where we're here with Dr. Stephen Hall, Director of International Research Organisation WorldFish. Steve, we're a couple of days ahead of the World Ocean Summit and a week ahead of World Oceans Day. We've taken a few questions from our Twitter followers and wondered whether you'd be happy to answer them for us this morning.
Delighted.
Okay, very good. The WWF, the World Wildlife Fund, has recently put out a report where it puts a monetary value on the world's oceans of $24 trillion. How important is it, do you think, to come up with a figure like that, to quantify the value of our oceans in that way?
I think it's a really useful thing to do, and it's an important exercise to undertake, simply because it illustrates the opportunity and the value that the oceans provide. I mean, of course, the question that follows that is, of course, how do you sustain and secure that value and indeed enhance it? And of course, that's the agenda for the blue economy and other initiatives that are currently very active.
So if the blue economy is to be a legitimate vision for governing the oceans, what are some of those key touch points? What are some of the key issues that need to be tackled?
I think one of the really important ones is keeping front of mind some of the less obvious roles that the oceans play. For example, small-scale fisheries in providing welfare and livelihoods that are difficult to provide in other ways. I'm thinking particularly about small-scale fisheries in remote areas that serve as a social safety net for the poor. And one of the concerns I have is as we move forward with that blue economy agenda, there is a danger of reforming those fisheries in ways that perhaps compromise some of the benefits for the people who need it most that fisheries can provide.
Okay. So, moving to the international level, you'll be aware of UN SDG 14, which is to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas and marine resources for sustainable development. This was a pretty hard-won SDG,
Sure.
and of course we don't know yet, the SDGs aren't set in stone, that it will be one that remains in the final text. Do you believe that the international community is paying adequate attention to the plight of our seas?
It certainly gets an awful lot of profile in the media. I'm not sure I fully sign up to the crisis narrative that prevails. And indeed, it has been a hard-won recommendation to get the oceans into the SDGs, which I think is welcome. I think my concern, however, in doing that is to recognise that much of the conversation about the oceans is about food security, it's about providing enough fish for the world to eat. And I worry slightly that with an oceans SDG, the very important role that aquaculture in freshwater, which is one of the dominant food supply methods we have, will be somewhat downgraded, and equally the role of freshwater fisheries as a route to food security and the attention we need to pay to that. So it is hard won. I think it's important. I do think the importance of the ocean is recognised. I would only say that I would like to see the importance of the other elements of the fish food sector equally well recognised within the context of the SDGs and the route towards sustainability.
Right. SDG 14 in the wider text speaks to the importance of developing research capacities in order to improve ocean health. How important do you think that is?
I think, there's no doubt that the returns on investment in research are enormous. And I do think that building the capacity to understand the impacts we're having to monitor success or failure in our efforts to sustain what the ocean can provide to us is critically important. It's just like management literature, which always tells you what you measure matters. And I think this is exactly the same. If we measure it and we do it well and we understand how to do it well and what it means, I think we're in a much better position to take the steps we need to take to get to the results we want to see.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for speaking to us this morning, Steve. and good trip. Bon voyage to Lisbon tomorrow.
I look forward to it. Cheers.
Thank you.